it can be interpreted twice, like at least in two ways. Sorry.
It's off the rails now. You,
You might conclude that the wife has been a victim twice. I'll read the story now. So as you can see the caption, husband left wife in court with perpetrator.
what?
The story goes as follows, guys. And as remember, if you have something to say, remember to comment. If you have a take, let us know, especially whether you agree with us or not. So the story goes as follows. I'm a 34-year-old male. I won't go into details, but my wife was the victim of SA, violent SA.
Jesus.
We have a child together of 4, a girl, and have delayed having more kids in large part because we were dealing with the legal case and my wife's recovery. As a husband, it has been horrible to see the person I love more than anything suffer so much. The man who did it ended up pleading guilty even though he originally wanted to go to trial. The sentencing hearing was today, and so many of our friends and family showed up to support my wife. My wife, her mother, and I all gave statements to court about the impact of the crime. Victim impact statements. My wife was very eloquent and did a great job explaining how the crime affected her and our family. Her mother also did a great job describing my wife and what a sweet soul she is, how the SA has destroyed her trusting and innocent nature. I spent days preparing a statement, but when I got up there, I was emotional from hearing my wife and mother-in-law speak. They pronounce, by the way, something else. They pronounce mother-in-law MIL. The F is silent, probably.
They want
I didn't want to sob in front of a. This is a serious matter. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't want to sob in front of a courtroom of people and felt
I guess. Sorry, I have to chime in. Sorry, I have to chime in.
Right.
I guess it's so. I guess if you hate your mother-in-law, it's FMIL then.
Yeah, it's the other way around, right?
Anyway, continue.
But it can be interpreted twice. Like at least in two ways. Sorry.
It's off the rails now. You. Oh man, continue.
That's a rough one. I didn't want to sob in front of a courtroom of people and felt like I was about to have a heart attack. I quite literally just said that I love my wife more than anything and I want the maximum sentence imposed. The judge could tell I was struggling and told me I could take a minute to compose myself, but I honestly needed to get out of there. I left the room, hid in the men's room, and didn't see the actual sentencing. My wife called me when it was over and we met outside of the courthouse. I apologized for leaving and expressed how proud I was of her. My wife understood my wife understood and said she knows it was an emotional day for everyone. I took her home and she crashed immediately. My parents came over to check on me this evening and my mom was kind. However, my dad seemed annoyed and asked what happened at the courthouse. I explained that I was emotional from hearing my wife speak and truly felt like I needed to get out of the courtroom or I might pass out. My mother said it was understandable and that she wanted to leave several times as well because of how painful it was. My dad looked genuinely disgusted and said that my wife was brave enough to stand in front of a man who SA'd her, express how it impacted her, and advocate for herself and her family. My dad said I failed her by not speaking up for her, staying by her side during this sentence. I don't disagree and feel terrible, but I was honestly so upset from seeing her in so much pain. My mom told my dad that I was being harsh and that I'd supported her since the crime happened. But my dad said I failed as a husband. I honestly feel terrible. Was I wrong, KR? Was I wrong?
There's no wrong or no right. I don't think there's a wrong or right in this situation. I think the guy was overwhelmed of that situation. Wrong is a big word here. Everyone is different, right? Everyone processes trauma differently. I do think, however, that he could have at least, instead of some people like I said, people process things differently. Some people, there is this flight or fight. He's obviously someone who fall in the category of flight, not fighting, not standing there and fighting for your rights or fighting for what you believe in. He rather runs away of the situation. Well, there are people like that. You can say also maybe the dad failed him because he didn't raise his son to be a warrior when it has to be like that. Hey, what? You're laughing. I'm RJ. Situations don't pop out of nowhere. Rats don't pop out of nowhere no. I'm talking about I'm talking about genera spontanea. Rats don't pop out of nowhere. Well, I use rats. Well, it's young talk. That's nothing to do with young talk. Rats don't pop out of nowhere when food is on the ground and spilled around. It grows out of somewhere. So the guy was maybe raised a bit alternatively. Maybe he's a softer person. I don't know. It's hard to say because I don't know the background of the guy. Maybe he's had a harsh youth. I don't know, but I think he could have processed it a bit better. At least stand next to his wife when the sentencing was happening. I mean, you have to have some kind of a backbone as a man. Yeah, I don't think this is good. Actually, maybe I'm. The more I talk about it, I think he should have just stand there with his wife.
That's what
and take. Yeah, I was trying to soft land this stuff, but I'm gonna crash out on this one.
Try to sound like me.
Huh?
You try to sound like me.
Yeah, that's not me, and that's not me. I'm gonna do this like Washington in that movie Flight. I'm gonna crash this plane down, baby. Let me get the drinking.
So
no, anyway, he should have just have better composure. Let's be honest. As a man, you should stand next to your wife and you should be able to look at the man who violated your wife in his eyes and tell him what you think, what kind of POS he is. I'll be honest. You cannot stand there crying and man. Yeah, you go.
Yeah, so
disgusting. I'm as disgusted as his dad, actually. I try to tread it lightly, but I can't. This is disgusting. Continue.
So this is what I think. I think it's very complicated. First and foremost, I can't imagine what the dude is feeling because I bet you that he feels that he failed her. And so I think that's what he's dealing with the most. I agree with you that he should have stayed, but wouldn't have made the pain less. It's just that in that moment, it's not about you, it's about your wife. Maybe he didn't want his wife to see a weak man. And I'm saying that he's weak because, okay, let me change that.
No, you can continue that, bro.
Let me change that. Maybe he didn't want his wife to see him in a weak moment. Because maybe we don't know if he's a weak man or not. But that was a weak moment, a vulnerable moment.
Vulnerable
Maybe he thought, no, my wife deserves, I want to be there, but my wife deserves me to be there, standing firmly. Now I'm crying and she's not. I don't know, but I do. Yeah. Hey.
RJ, I have a question. I have a question. If you attack that person in court, for how many days do they lock you up?
I don't know.
Okay. You gotta crash out for your wife, man. You gotta tell him, hey, I forgive you. Come, hug. God! God! Oh, uppercut, baby. Crash out for your wife. Nah, man. You gotta crash out for your wife. You gotta sit one day. Show her what business is, man.